I think you're pointing to such an important thing in that at least in the United States, it's such an individualist society. It's so influential all around the world, this a way of thinking that that we just like there's this pressure to just solve every problem on your own and even like when and there's even when it comes to things like large systemic problems. We were told for years with climate change, like recycle and like get some solar panels and do these individual acts on your own, when that's a BS answer, because it really takes big systemic change on the governmental level to be able to address like the problem we have. And there are other problems like that in the world, right? That where we need to think collectively and we have to have a collective answer to some of the problems. And what you're pointing to is like, you know, we we absorb this mindset, of individualism, and we come to parenting, we come to birth, we come to parenting, and we start to think, oh, I just need to, so for some reason, like we're a little more into it with birth, right? Like we're like, okay, yeah, I might need like a team of people because the physics of it maybe.
Totally.
but, but then when it comes to like parenting, which is in a lot of ways, the challenges are very great in a lot of ways, and we come to this situation, we think, oh, I'm just supposed to sort of do it all on my own, that we have also absorbed that kind of mommy martyr experience, right? And that isn't this is like a not helpful mindset. Like this is something we've got to like look at and examine and toss it in the garbage, this idea.
Absolutely. And you bring up a really valid point on it being a collective, community-wide thing that needs to be, tackled even on a government federal level. Because, for example, like I live in actually Canada. So here I've noticed, and I've lived in the States as well too, and I've noticed that maternity leave policies are drastically different. Like some women don't get very much maternity leave, if anything at all, after giving birth and are called back to work in the States. That's not the case here. Women here get up to 18 months of maternity leave, and much of that is paid. So I think really trying to rethink these things and figuring out what countries are doing what, who's supporting moms, who's supporting women, and how can we learn from them, and demanding more from our communities, demanding more from, people in power who can create this sort of change, because there's a lot of unpaid labor that goes into, motherhood, that goes into parenthood. And yes, it's wonderful. Parenthood is great. We love our kids. We want the best for them, but we shouldn't have to martyr or sacrifice ourselves to achieve that. In fact, societies and communities as a whole benefit from parents who are present, who are healthy, energized, and can be there for their kids rather than being exhausted and burnt out. And it's just not sustainable.
Yeah, I completely agree. I have a friend who lives in the Netherlands. She's from the US and she lives in the Netherlands. And man, she pays a ridiculous amount of money for a chicken, but she gets so many benefits. It's amazing. She had like totally free childcare from like as soon as she wanted it. She had totally free childcare called creche. It's like a creche system where you can like go and they feed your kids lunch and whatever you need. Like you have this available and it's all over the place, all around the country. I mean, that's amazing, right? Like why that would benefit entrepreneurs, that would benefit businesses. Like it's actually a very pro business stance, like kind of, I think, to think about that. So we're getting a little political here, I guess, Roya, but I think that this is a political stance I feel very firmly about as well. Anyway, is
Totally.
more
And it's,
support for parents.
I absolutely agree. And it's not something that has to be any sort of party's agenda, or being one-sided at all. I think this is, I think mothers, regardless of your political beliefs or backgrounds, I think wherever you're living, I think if we really care about women, if we really care about mothers, if we really care about families and kids and their well-being, like we will tackle these issues and we will make sure that they are listened to.
Catch new episodes of the Mindful Mama podcast and other free resources, including the Mindful Mom Guide at mindfulmamamentor.com. You can listen to every back catalog episode, including interviews with Dr. Dan Siegel, Ianla Van Zant, Sharon Salzberg, and get meditations, join our private Facebook group, and more. Go to mindfulmamamentor.com now. I'll see you there.